Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our FFG Live. I'm joined today by Danny Schaefer. Danny, I know we had some people concerned about your knee in the chat. Do you want to get out there?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I just had knee surgery to hopefully enhance my card design abilities. Little known fact, card design is all about the lower body.
Yeah, it's a lot of people body work.
Card design with their back, and it's really dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing well. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you all at home for being concerned about Danny's health and well-being. Yeah, it's very nice of you all. But without further ado, we have so much to talk about today. We know that you all at home have been asking so many questions about what's rotation going to look like. What are some of these updates? We announced the stream about a month ago, and so we know there's been a lot of speculation about what these things are. So we're going to jump right into some of these things and then talk about some of the stuff that we didn't announce later in the stream. But we want to start off by talking about set rotation because we know that that's what all of you at home are waiting for. So Danny, why don't you tell everybody and let them in on, it's not so much a secret anymore. Yeah, why don't we let everybody know what rotation is going to look like?
So set rotation, as we know, Premier, the main format that you've been playing, is going to rotate.
Yes.
And it will happen starting with set 7, which will be March of next year, March of 2026, I guess.
Oh, wow, yeah.
When rotation hits, we are going to rotate out the first 3 sets, which would be Spark of Rebellion, Shadows of the Galaxy, and Twilight Republic. Those will no longer be legal for Premier play. They will still be legal, of course, in Twin Suns. And we are also going to start at that time supporting an Eternal format where you can play any cards ever printed. That'll be a 2-player head-to-head format with cards from all sets available. Going forward from there, we will continue to have a rotation every March when that first set of the year drops. And it'll rotate out the oldest year's worth of sets, basically the 3 oldest sets. So when set 10 hits, the 4th, 5th, and 6th sets will drop out, etc. For those who might not know, rotation is basically, it's a way to keep the format fresh. And also a way to keep the format accessible. When we get, again, into 2026, 2027, it's going to be hard for people to necessarily go back and get cards from March of 2024 from Spark of Rebellion.
Absolutely.
So it keeps the format accessible to new players. And for the hardcore competitive players, it just keeps things changing all the time. You won't have to always play with Sabine and Han and these cards that have defined the game for the first year so far.
For those who are new to TCGs, rotation is not something that we are inventing right here or coming up with ourselves. Rotation is something that exists across many trading card games. But can you give just a little bit of idea of what rotation is? It's just basically removing those from Premier play, right?
Yeah, it's just the oldest sets currently in the game will go away, and we'll just play with the newer sets. So again, set 7 comes out, you'll be playing a new format that's 4, 5, 6, and 7. It'll be a big moment, I think, for the game whenever rotation hits, because it'll really change what the best decks are.
Yeah.
You have to take a new look at all your deck building and what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of those staple cards that you saw in sets 1, 2, and 3. By this time next year, you'll be going, okay, what am I going to do without X card, or Y card? If this option for removal isn't here, or this staple aggro card isn't there, how do I make up for that in the deck, or maybe switch how I wanted to approach this, which is really
It could be whole new decks, or it could also just be changing out some cards from an existing deck. If the Darth Vader from set 1 isn't there, what's the next 7-cost green villain unit that steps up in his place?
Maul, right?
He'll rotate too.
we'll talk more about some of those cards in the future, I'm sure. But yeah, it's something that we want to be open and honest with you all. And so for us on rotation side, is there we know that there's a way for us to be able to tell what cards will be rotated out or rotated in at different times, which is being added now in Jump to Lightspeed. I know a lot of people at home already noticed that there's a little A block on the bottom of the cards. We'll throw it up on screen in case you haven't noticed it yet. But this symbol will be on all the cards here in year 2, 2025, right? Yep.
Any card coming out in booster packs, in Jump to Lightspeed, or in the other 2 sets coming out later this year will have this little A at the bottom. Again, just a quick, easy way to identify which cards are legal to play. Anything that doesn't have the A at the bottom, of course, will rotate out when set 7 hits. And then this whole year we'll have the A. When the next rotation happens, we'll rotate out all the cards with an A, and whatever the B, the next symbol, will be what's legal. So yeah, pretty simple. You can see the 2 Chewbacca's up there. One of them's going to rotate. The other one's not going to rotate for another year afterwards. A question that often comes up, though, that I do want to clarify is about different versions of cards. So if we print a card in one of the first 3 sets, and let's say we reprint it in a future set, in set 4, would you still be able to play the version from set 1? And the answer is yes. Any version of a card that is legal in Premiere, you can play whatever version you want, regardless if it's a promo, if it's from a previous set, anything like that.
So you could expect to see some of these things that you've already seen being reprinted in different sets because it's great for the limited environment. A thing like Vanquish, as an example, or like Prepare for Takeoff is a great example that is actually... I don't think we have the asset here, but you've all seen Prepare for Takeoff. It is also reappearing in Jump to Lightspeed.
Yeah, the perfect example. So Prepare for Takeoff, card from the first year of the game that we're bringing back in Jump to Lightspeed. It's a great fit because there are way more vehicles in Jump to Lightspeed than in the previous set. And so even though that card originally was printed in the first year, because it's being reprinted in booster packs in set 4, it'll stay legal with the rest of set 4.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think that's a great way to explain it. Happy to answer any of the questions people have, but I think the A marker on cards will help make sure it's very clear for players and for us to be able to build our decks and go, oh, okay, I need to look for these specific symbols, which is great. And I'm really excited that you all added that. Oh, it looks like my mic's having issues. All right.
All right, really project, Xander.
I'll
lean close to you.
All right. So, I think, do you want to answer the one from the chat about reprints?
A question about whether reprints will get new art. So obviously we have already in the second and third sets done some reprints just with the same art from previous sets to just keep those in the limited environment, basically in the draft and sealed gameplay. Cool. We will continue to do that sometimes, reprint cards with the same art, but as far as new art, I would just say nothing's off the table. Definitely a world where at some point we start to print new art on those cards as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Everybody loves new art. Everybody loves just
we love new art.
Great art pieces. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. I think, so to clarify, the sets will rotate every year. Yes, when the first set of a year is released in March, as we know for this year and future years, obviously nothing's rotating this year, but in 2026, when set 7 is released, sets 1 through 3 will all rotate out. Same going for every year in the future. So you could expect at this time to be, looking towards this new set. You'll also be knowing that the 2 years ago, that set will be rotating out at that exact time. So yeah, great question from the chat on that one. And glad the mic's back. We're good. All right.
Awesome.
We can keep answering questions as we see them,
for sure.
I think that's a great explainer. And so I know we also announced in our, listing for this live stream that we were going to talk about what is changing in booster packs. So nothing is changing overall in booster packs and how the booster pack is laid out. Those were designed very specifically for the limited format with that number of commons, uncommons, rares, foils, things like that. But we do have some other exciting things about like the set design and what cards are included in this and how that changes the way they show up in boosters. So Danny, do you want to walk us through some of that?
Yeah, I can start. So this is all about the normal boosters. Obviously, we talked a lot about Carbonite boosters previously.
Yeah.
And as you say, the actual slots in the pack are staying the same. You're still going to see your leader, your base, your 9 commons, 3 uncommons, and then a rare legendary and a foil or hyperfoil. But we're going to change a little bit the exact drop rates and number of different cards in some of those slots. So the first one is we're going to add about 10 commons per set, going up to 100 commons from 90. Jump to Lightspeed is actually a little different for reasons that you'll find out about later in a future spoiler. But in general, going forward, 100 commons per set. We're going to have 2 fewer rare cards, down to 50 different rares in each set, and 4 extra legendaries, up to 20 different legendaries.
Wow. That's a lot more legendaries. That is a big increase there.
Increase the number of legendaries. I think the first question people probably ask is, will that make it harder to get the legendaries I need? And the answer is no. We've got you covered. This is actually, I think, going to be a wholly positive change as far as the pack opening experience for players, because we have actually upped the rate at which legendaries are going to appear in each pack.
Very cool.
So previously, we know it was about approximately every 1 in 8 packs you would see a legendary.
Yeah.
Usually like 3 in a 24-pack box. We're upping that to closer to 1 in 5 packs. So in a typical box, you're going to see 5 legendaries.
Very cool. And that's just in the rare/legendary slot.
Yeah, just in the rare legendary slot. So you could still get same thing where you get a hyperspace legendary potentially, or a foil legendary in your foil slot.
Very cool.
That's just for the regular, the regular rare legendary slot.
Very cool.
For those doing the math at home, that does mean that in general, it's going to be a little easier to get the legendaries you need. And of course, because those take up slots that would go to rares, every rare is going to be a little bit harder, but not too much harder. Just bring them a little closer together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know that was a very hotly discussed topic, is the legendary pull rate earlier this year. So it's really cool that we can now talk about the fact that legendaries will be a little bit easier to find for some of those people that are like, oh, I need this specific card. I need this General Grievous to build this crazy Dooku deck that I want to build. It's just going to be a little bit easier to do that going forward. Obviously not with the previous sets, though.
Yeah, absolutely. On average, just going to get those legendaries a little bit faster, which is great.
Very cool.
And then just, starting with jump to light speed.
Starting with jump to light speed. All right. Before we go back and answer some of the previous questions, we also have another thing that's going to be appearing in booster packs now. Do you want to tell everybody about this piece of the puzzle?
For sure. So the other change is that the S rarity cards, the cards that were the normal versions, are exclusive to the Spotlight decks.
Yeah.
Cards like Pilot Chewbacca in the Han Spotlight deck in jump to light speed. Previously, you were getting cosmetic variants of those in your weekly play kits. Now, instead, you will, very rarely, but you will get those in booster packs for the foil, hyperspace, and hyperfoil versions.
Very cool.
Again, this is going to be quite rare. Hyperspace and hyperfoil, it's about the drop rate of a hyperspace or hyperfoil rare card in those same slots. And regular foils are a little more often, but still, it's pretty rare to get them. But if you're looking for that foil, hyperfoil version of a card, again, like that Chewbacca, you can now find them in your booster packs.
Nice.
Obviously, that means they won't be in weekly play. We've got some other cool stuff taking their place that we can't talk about yet today. But,
I'm dying to talk about
looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of those in the future. It'll be really cool. But it's great that, for the collector side of things, if you're looking for those hyperspace cards, and that means they're also going to show up in Carbonite boosters, correct?
Yes.
So they'll be available there in some of those foil slots, some of those hyperspace slots. So if you're a collector, you don't have to go to the weekly play. Obviously, we still encourage you to do it because there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can get involved with in your community there. But it made sense for these collectors, right, to be able to, as they're getting these products and trying to build this master set of a set, to not have to go to different places to find them, and you can find them all in one place.
Yep. Just find them in your booster packs. And this also has some implications. Again, it's going to be pretty rare, but for draft and sealed play, where occasionally you get to play that card, that Spotlight card like Chewbacca, in your draft deck or your sealed deck.
Yeah.
Which can be kind of fun, kind of a little change of pace there.
For sure. That's really cool. I think we had some good questions from the chat. Our monitor's turned off there. Someone asked about leaders rotating out and things like that. Those will rotate the same as other cards.
Leaders will rotate the same as other cards. And currently we don't have plans to reprint leaders in normal sets. But again, nothing's off the table. Totally possible that at some point down the road we could revisit that. But for the moment, you're going to lose all those first 3 sets worth of leaders from Premiere, and it'll be new leaders that you'll be playing with.
Very cool. Leaders being reprinted. Yep, that's most of the questions that we had for the rotation side of things. All great questions, because I know people have their favorite leaders here, but obviously we're not scared of taking characters and putting a new spin on them going forward. So you can always expect to see some of those characters popping up in the future. So if you are a big Luke Skywalker fan, just because something rotates out, there's likely be another Luke Skywalker in the future.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Cool. All right.
So, another good question in chat. Twin Suns, also not a rotating format. In Twin Suns, you'll be able to play cards from any set going forward.
Yeah. So
rotation only for Premiere.
Dream up some crazy combos. As the card pool keeps getting bigger and bigger, there's going to be some really cool stuff you can do in Twin Suns. And that's true. The rotation is only for Premiere format and does not affect anything else, right? Like none of the other current formats or any future formats.
Future formats. We'll let you know on future formats. Maybe some of them will rotate, but maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. Today we're just talking about Premiere. So great questions on that. Someone's asking about the rare bases and the rare slot. That is not changing. Those, I believe.
That is still the same for set 4.
Those ones are there. Cool. Eternal will be supported format as well. We're getting that question. But in addition to some of these questions that you all are asking, we actually have an article that'll be going live this afternoon detailing the entirety of rotation as well as the booster pack breakdown.
Yep.
So feel free to use that as a resource as well and share with friends who might have questions about this thing. And we kind of go over how this all is going to affect what's going on for you all as players. And so we'll be on the lookout for that article very soon. The next thing we want to talk about, I saw people wanting us to tease more about weekly play. We can't do that, but I promise we do have some preview cards for you all at the end. But planetary qualifiers are going on.
Yeah.
I know that we want to do check-ins. We're kind of doing those on a regular cadence, but this is a time where we had an opportunity today to just talk a little bit more about them. And so what are you thinking, Danny? What's going on in your design team? How's everybody feeling about this competitive season we're in right now?
Generally pretty good. Yeah, we've been watching the results, and it's a good amount of variety. More variety for sure than we were seeing in the previous set of PQs where Boba Fett was really dominating.
Yeah.
Been cool to see some new bases pop up. A lot more Tarkin Town. I think there's actually more Tarkin Town in top 8 decks than Energy Conversion Lab now.
Yeah.
I believe, which is cool to see. And it's also been neat to see a lot of the set 3 leaders performing pretty well. Obviously, Han and Sabine are still on top, but seeing Quinlan, Jango, decent amount of Anakin showing up as well.
Yeah.
That's been cool.
It's been really cool. I know I saw some people talking about it in some of the community groups about how it's like, what was it, over 50% of leaders that are legal right now have top 8 of the PQ, which is really cool to see that people are able to grab some of their favorite things. And there's just a lot more support out there now with 3 sets in. Yeah. And again, right now, we just talked about rotation. This is the smallest the card will ever be going forward, too. Like
going forward of at least 4 sets.
At least 4 sets going forward at all times. So it's really cool to see the diversity in the meta already. And so, what are some of the weirdest decks you've seen, top 8 that you're like, I did not expect them to do that well that quickly, and people catching on?
There's been some cool stuff. I think the 2 that jumped out to me most are probably, I think both winners actually. Gar Saxon I saw took one down.
Yeah.
And also Previsla.
Yeah.
Which is a deck I've loved in playtesting. Just draw cards, blow up their units. But yeah, those Mandalorians putting up a couple good results.
I love Previsla, and I cannot wait till there's more card draw in the future. I think he's going to be one that will be fun in like a Twin Suns too, going forward, as I just want to draw cards at all times.
Yeah, heck yeah. Especially you combine him with a leader with a card draw ability. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. So that's a really good one. I know that people are in the chat are asking this, and I know that we've talked about this before the stream, that is people are questioning about the DJ and the Han Solo from set 1, Spark of Rebellion. Do you have anything that you all want to say about that right now, or like anything that's going on currently?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll get it out of the way. We're not, no action being taken right now. Not going to announce anything today. We are, of course, watching it. Han has been the best performing leader in PQs. Again, not at Boba Fett levels, but clearly, I think, the #1 deck. And the DJ interaction can be kind of not very fun to play against at times. So it's something we're going to keep watching results. We're going to keep doing our own internal testing as we did before doing anything with Boba Fett, and we'll keep an eye on it and see what's going to happen basically. But nothing happening for now. Other than that, the format's looking good.
Yeah.
Sabine obviously still the best aggro deck, but. That might change with Jump to Lightspeed. There's some aggro tools in there for sure. I'm definitely excited for some of those. Yeah, and to be honest, another thing too, we're going to be testing a lot of just what Jump to Lightspeed might do to the metagame, because we, again, internally think it's going to have more of an impact probably even than the last 2 sets. Awesome. Some really exciting stuff in there. I'm sure everybody's excited. I'm sure some people could guess that looking at some of the cards that have been revealed already. So it'll be really exciting. And like we said, we will come back with a full breakdown of everything we saw during this PQ season, closer to the release of Jump to Lightspeed, along with any updates that we have that you can all expect. But right now, we just want to give you all a little update on how everything's looking from our end, and we're really excited. And thank you all for participating in the PQs so far. Yeah. I'm excited to see what the next couple weeks bring. It's going to be really fun. Ooh. Somebody asked about a couple cards. We can't talk about any specific cards other than the ones we've already did today, but maybe those will be something we talk about in the future. Yeah, we'll do a full metagame check-in at some point later, probably towards the end or after PQ season. Probably after PQs wrap up, so we have the full data set for it. All right, it looks like we don't have too many other questions.
Currently for this, people are asking about Comp Rules 4. We have no updates for you all right now on that, but I know our team was hard at work on those, and so
Ryan's been all over that.
Yeah, of course, Rules Admiral Ryan. Yeah. So yeah, look forward to those closer to the release of Jump to Lightspeed. All right, so it looks like we've answered all the questions that we can answer today. And Danny picked out two very special cards to share with you all.
Very special cards.
Because we know you all come for the information, but also to see some new stuff every week. So, Danny, would you like to show off one of your new cards first? I believe you have a special ship to show.
Yeah, let's start with that ship. Throw up the Mist Hunter. So this is a 3-cost yellow villain ship. It's a 3/4, pretty good stat line.
Yeah, that's a great stat line.
And that underworld trait that we love in a lot of decks. And obviously being a vehicle, great for pilots.
And a transport now that we've seen some transport.
Transport, true, Rio Durant, yeah. And it's on attack. If you played a bounty hunter or a pilot card this phase, you may draw a card. So this is just a really, solid ship for villainy decks. Again, as I said, good stats, good spot in the cost curve.
Yep.
And a really nice reward for playing pilots. One of the risks, obviously, with some pilots, not Chewbacca, but with some pilots is you put it on there, and then if they have removal, you might fall behind on cards. But this, if you find a good spot, just put a pilot on there, attack, draw a card right away. You're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's really cool. And whose ship is that? For those who maybe aren't as
I believe this ship belongs to Zuckuss.
Yeah, we were having a conversation about that beforehand. It's a cool ship.
It is cool. Yeah. It works again in Bounty Hunter synergy to work with Zuckuss.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And his pal 4LOM.
Of course.
Yeah.
His pal. Yeah.
And they curve into each other too.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Man, almost like you planned it.
Yeah. I think Cad Bane players might be happy about this one.
Oh yeah. We have one more card, and I think you picked this one out special because we talked about legendaries and there's being more in this set. So we have a legendary for you to show off today too.
Yeah, and this is legendary that goes in a deck that I think a lot of people in the community have been excited about, and was maybe my favorite deck to play in Jump to Lightspeed playtesting. The Admiral Piet capital ships.
Oh yeah.
With Devastator and Planetary Bombardment. So this card is Turbo Laser Salvo, 7 cost, green event. Choose an arena. A friendly space unit deals damage equal to its power to each enemy unit in that arena.
Ooh, that hurts.
This card can just turn a game right around. If you power out an early capital ship with Piet or just with regular ramp, if you're playing Palpatine or something, this can completely wipe out an opponent's ground or space arena pretty easily. Ooh. It also works with pilots. If there are lines where you just play a medium-sized ship, deploy your pilot leader onto it, and that might be a 6 or 7 power unit already.
Yeah.
Play this, 7 damage to all ground units or all space units. Enemy only, of course.
Enemy only.
And just wipe them out. So this card is really exciting, really cool if you're going in on a space deck for sure.
Oh yeah. So I will say, for everybody who doesn't get to see behind the scenes, that Danny specifically wanted to be able to play with this when we do play Premiere on stream next month. And so that's also why we got to show it today. So you can thank Danny for the legendary.
You gotta let me preview Turbo Laser Salvo. Don't make me play Overwhelming Barrage.
Yeah, you're like, Turbo Laser Salvo, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. So yeah, thank you for bringing those cards with you to show off. And so I think we are pretty well wrapped up for the day.
I think so.
But again, I want to reiterate that we do have an article going live about set rotation and the changes to booster packs very soon after this stream, so stay tuned for that if you have any more questions about this. Also stay tuned for our list of live streams that will be going live for February. We have a lot of fun things to talk about, such as some more info on sectors and regionals, as well as the Galactic Championship happening in Vegas this summer. So stay tuned next month for our stream and article schedule, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining us.